Good evening. We're going to be opening the Inlands, Wetlands, and Watercourse Commission for the town of Trumbull for April 2nd, 2024. I'm going to take a moment to welcome back a former Commissioner, Richard Deacon. He will be serving as the liaison for planning and zoning. And I'd like to give a shout out to his predecessor, Tony Silber, for the great work he did while he was in as the liaison. At this point, I would ask our clerk to do a roll call.
Richard Gerard.
Present.
John Loria.
Here.
Carmine DeFeo.
Present.
Rich Deacon.
Present.
David Verespi.
Present.
Greg Cernica. Robert Ferrigno. Town staff Tatiana Solovey.
Here.
John Mayer.
Here.
Attorney Jim Cordone.
I am here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Also, for the record, I'd like to state that Mr. Deacon will not be participating in tonight's meetings as all applications predate his being sworn into the commission. So at this point, I will go to our attorney and he will give us the legal aspect of doing a video conference meeting. If you would, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As has been our practice, the Trumbull Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission is conducting its meeting by video conference pursuant to Connecticut law over the internet and over the telephone. The applications and the agenda were posted on the town website with supporting materials at least 24 hours in advance of tonight's meeting. Please note that any comments received on any online format, such as Facebook Live or other, will not be seen by the commission and not included in the record. I would ask the commissioners and all participants to remember to please identify yourselves before speaking for the benefit of those who are listening only by telephone. And I would ask the chairman to make sure that all votes are conducted by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. And lastly, I'd like to remind everyone that tonight's meeting is being recorded. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Counselor. For the record, there is no new business. So I'm going to be opening old business. Application 24-04, Richard Ruby. It's a permit approval to remove 8 trees, add plantings and a split rail fence within a regulated area at 208 Old Dyke Road. Okay, I'm not sure if he's going to be joining, but are there any comments from the commission on this? As we should be able to vote on this tonight.
Mr. Ruby just joined.
Okay, has okay.
You can video yourself. Click up there.
Hi, I'm Richard Ruby, agent for the Pinewood Lake Association. I live 76 Old Dyke Road.
All right, very good. You want to give us a quick overview?
Pinewood Lake Association had taken down 8 trees in a regulated area without getting a proper permit. You submitted last time a planting plan. You did a walk around last week, and here we are.
All right. Okay, I'm going to open it to the commission. Any, how about you, David? Did you check the plantings?
The plant list looks fine. Mostly trees. He added in some understory trees, which are good. It would be great to have one dominant species or climax species in there to replace the oak that was taken out. That's really my only, comment.
Would
And it doesn't have to be big, an inch and a half caliper or something. We can find a spot for it, and before it has, we're all gonna be gone before it does anything significant.
would a swamp white oak be?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. And or red maple?
I would rather see the swamp white oak. It's a longer leaf species. It's a more significant species. I think it would be a better choice for that location. You know, the red maples will grow in and of themselves in this area without any prompting.
Okay. And
All
just
right,
one or multiple?
I think one would be sufficient along with the rest of this plant material.
Okay.
Is there
right.
any subsequent disturbance in this area from equipment coming in and going out where the ground's been disturbed with any need for stabilization with a seed mix of some sorts?
There really hasn't been much disturbance. I mean, they came in on solid ground. They weren't in the area of the trees. But there's some barren land on the upper flats, not in the lower river area.
But has that got leaf litter on it, or is it just dirt?
Just
Would
leaf
be-
litter. The upper area is just dirt.
Something to stabilize that would be appropriate.
So some type of a ground cover or grass.
Yeah, some sort of native, roadside stabilization mix or something like that. Native roadside stabilization mix.
Okay.
Or an upland, we're talking probably less than a pound of seed of an upland stabilization mix, reclamation mix, something roadside mix, something along those lines.
Okay.
All right, any other comments, questions from the commission? Okay, and John, speaking for engineering, we're good? John Mayer, we're good?
Yes.
Or not? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll move on to the next application. Thank you, Mr. Ruby.
Thank you.
Okay, application 24-05 Tesla Scott Austin to permit approval to install 12 electric vehicle chargers, switchgear, and a pad-mounted transformer within a regulated area at 120/140 Holly Lane. Just to give you a little insight on that, this is in front of the Target store that's over at Holly. And let's see. Do we have Mr. Austin coming in?
I don't see him on the list of attendees. There is one phone number. I'm not sure if that's from them. So we may not have a representative. Bill Chin, could you please give a person with a phone number just in case that's them instructions?
Sure. If Mr. Austin is on the phone, please press *9.
Well, it would appear we don't have a representative. We didn't have one for the walk either, but let's open it up to the commission. Thoughts that you have? I know David walked it. I know Carmine walked it. I've walked it. Greg. Ferrigno, who unfortunately is not here because he's ill, but questions, gentlemen and ladies?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Carmine.
A concern I had was, I believe it's the transformer vault that they're planning. It seems to be right up against the light pole support.
Do you want this put up on the screen as we're talking?
That would be good.
All right, John Mayer or Tatiana, if you can put the plan up for us, please.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, the vault I'm referring to, it's, if you follow where it says proposed sediment filter fence,
Mm-hmm.
just beyond that or within that fence or just outside that fence would be what I'm calling, I believe, is the transformer vault. They're not showing it, but there is a light pole between the vault and the curb. And their stakes were right up against the edge of that support, that concrete support. I don't know whether expansions during the summertime would cause damage to the pole support and or the vault. There's also how come I didn't mark it? There's a tree that they're not showing that would appear to be removed. That raises the question of any other trees to be removed. I didn't see anything indicated one way or the other. And the last area was just outside of that handicapped parking spot where they're talking about putting a charging port. There is a lot of exposed roots. I'm not sure, with this time of the year, I don't know if those trees are dying, are dead, whether they would be affected and whether or not any restoration should be done, to cover those roots.
I'm going to interrupt for a moment, Carmine. Either John Mayer or Tatiana, did the applicant submit a planting plan for restoration of the bushes and trees that will be affected?
It was not a separate planting plan, but so they have
Is there an inventory
proposed
list? I see there, but I mean, give you an idea so we can see if there's like 8 red maples and the size, because what they show,
yeah, they're proposing some where did it see it? Silky dogwood or mountain holly shrubs. Looks like 7 of them that I can count.
well, main reason I bring this up, I would have hoped to have had Bob Ferrigno on, but I'm quite sure David can help us. With them trenching that close, they're definitely going to affect roots, and we're going to be losing some trees. Do you agree with that, David?
Yes, definitely that close. There's going to be an effect on the trees. The ones closer to the parking lot were sort of planted trees, which they're going to have a limited root structure just because most of the root structure is probably still going to be contained in the ball area. But certainly they should do a few more shrubs than what they have got proposed. and, provide some specification for stabilization of the trenched areas, whether that's a grass mix or a restoration mix or whatnot. So those areas are appropriately covered. On the demo plan, it did note that the existing light is to be removed and relocated. I don't see a location on the plan for that, so that should be shown.
Yeah, late relocation. All right,
Yeah.
while we're doing this, can you do me a favor and be working on what you think would be a good supplemental inventory of plants and things? Because that was my concern when I looked at this. I said, for sure, we're going to lose a lot of the bushes and trees that are within 10, 12, maybe 15 feet of the edge of the curb where the parking lot is. And that was the feeling I
Right.
got from Bob Ferrigno also. So
There was a question in the last meeting of whether the trenching for the area where all the charging stations is going to go, if that trenching could be done in the parking lot side to limit the damage to the trees and shrubs behind the parking lot. It does not appear as though that was something that they were willing to do.
at this point, Tatiana, I hate to do this to you. I know your throat's bothering you, but I remember seeing an email from him because you would address that. And he gave the reasons why that couldn't be done.
Sorry, I was muted. They could not relocate the stations due to a conflict with other infrastructure, storm drainage. Yeah. So they couldn't place it around the corner, and there is a electrical easement as well.
All right. No, because I remember
I mean,
we
I don't-
asked about that.
I don't see anything on where in front of the charging stations where there's any stormwater infrastructure there where that trenching couldn't be done on the parking lot side as opposed to in the landscape side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
mean-
think I apologize. I think Richard.
Scroll down a little bit on the screen. So where all those numbers are 1A, B, C, D, E, 2A, B, C, D, 3A, B, right through there, why can't the trenching be done underneath the asphalt in that location as opposed to behind the curb?
Yes, David, the answer is it could be the email that I had sent was asking if the charging stations could be placed here, and that's what they answered, that there are conflicts. So sorry, it was a
Right.
different question.
Okay, but then I thought we'd asked about the fact of maybe trenching the asphalt next to the curb. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, again, it'd be less effect on the root system of the plants that are there, but
I believe at the last meeting, they just stated that partially it could be done, but obviously it would add a cost to the project. But I think if the commission wants a trenching in the parking lot, perhaps we should coordinate that with the applicant, because I can't really address the feasibility of it without knowing the project or designing it. So
again, I'm not sure if there are any catch basins or any clean outs or anything on that side. I didn't, because both times when we inspected it, there were multiple cars in that area already parked, so.
It doesn't
Right.
appear from the survey that there's anything in that location that would preclude them from being able to do that.
All right, well, what we'll do is during our work session, we'll chat it around and see what the rest of the commission feels. So-
They should have a proper planting plan prepared by a licensed professional, whether it's a landscape architect or an environmental consultant. They're showing 8 proposed shrubs that are mountain holly, which I'm not really sure what they're referring to, or silky dogwood, you know, a landscape plan should be provided that spells out what this stuff is.
Right.
Doesn't need to be complicated, but it should be provided.
And you also mentioned that the relocation of the existing light should be reflected on the plan also, right?
Correct. Correct.
All right, and then the comment about the exposed roots. What effect is that going to have while they're trenching all this? Is that because there's should we be asking for more soil to be brought in there? I mean, no.
That
Is
would
that
be more soil and more mulch to stabilize the area, or more soil and then seeded so that it stabilizes with vegetation.
All right, so during discussion, I'll come back to you and you can give your suggestions on that one. Also, as part of the condition will be a cleanup of that entire area because a lot of debris on both sides, so I would think the
should be-
commission would want to see that cleaned up and maintained.
The
The other
cleanup
thing, you
should
know
be
what I don't mean to talk over you, but I didn't see any trash barrels or anything there. And you know yourself, if you stop there and you're there for an hour or two, I think we should have a couple of trash bins there. So if they're gonna want to throw anything out or they're sipping a soda or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see what the commission thinks on that, but I definitely think we should have a couple of trash pails there.
Through the chair.
All right. Open it to the rest of the commission. Carmine, any thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Okay. Should we close this hearing tonight or should we extend it? I mean, if we close the work session, do we automatically close this application or should we have them come back next month? That's the decision we make before we close the public hearing or the hearing.
Well, again,
If we get into work
Tatiana.
session, it may be too late.
Tatiana, I'm looking at this. I feel we have enough that we could vote on this. What are your thoughts? Because if we made the conditions on this, I mean, it is what it is. We can certainly add the conditions during the work session. So, what are your thoughts, Tatiana? You okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have engineering comments on this one. It's purely environmental kind of wetlands. Yeah.
So,
If everyone's
that's what-
comfortable.
huh?
If everyone's comfortable, then
All right, so that's what we'll do. Any other comments on this application? Go ahead, David. Sorry.
To follow up on your comment about the site cleanup, it probably goes back to something with planning and zoning and the approvals on this thing. But before any building permits can be issued for this project, the place should get cleaned up.
Mhm.
It's a day with a crew to clean this place up, and they should be doing it, and they haven't been. So, I would say before building permits issued, then there has to be a site cleanup done.
All right, so we'll
Clean
make
up the
that part of
trash.
the condition and ongoing maintenance. So that, periodically it
I'm not
gets
sure if that's
picked up.
Is that a Tesla issue or is that a Target issue or is that a landlord issue?
No, it's
but-
a property owner issue. So, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cordone, I think they're either going in as a lessee or possibly under a license. And in essence, they're a tenant. So again, it always falls on the property owner to ultimately maintain. Am I wrong?
Well, the application before you is for a regulated use. That's what you are making a determination on today. And the applicant, it needs the consent of the property owner, and in this case, there's probably some sort of lease arrangement. I don't know the details of that. But it goes to the use on the property.
All So, all right, any other comments, questions?
Well, I'll extend that. Again, I don't know for sure that P and Z made it a condition, but I have heard other applications where they do. And it might be where P and Z might have to go to Target and say you're not living, if it is in their agreement, in their right in their original permit, they're not holding up to that, and P and Z can be enforcing it about the cleanup.
Yeah, but it's also in the upland review, and we really have the,
Yeah,
it's in our purview too, so. All right, are we good? All right, let's move to the next application. Application 24-06, David Arendt. It's a permit approval to construct a single-family residence within a regulated area at Lot 4, West Misha Road. I understand there was a a petition received from 36 Trumbull residents. And at this point, I'm going to ask our clerk, was it all verified? If you can give us your report on that.
Sure. On March 11th, the Wetlands received a petition signed by Trumbull residents requesting that application 24-06 goes to a public hearing. All signatures have been verified.
All right, very good. So at this point, I'm going to reach out to attorney. Do we have to make this a motion, or is it automatically done because it's requested?
Yeah, so two things. One, I think the applicant's attorney is here. I don't know if he wants to come in at all. To Mr. Hollister. So yes, there he is. So I want to make sure he has that opportunity to speak. Let's see if he's coming.
All right, and this being a public hearing, we would really be hearing most of this the next meeting, but go ahead, Counselor Attorney
Yes,
Hollister, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Attorney Hollister had an opportunity to speak if he wanted to. As you were coming over, Attorney Hollister, Chairman Gerard was asking if we should have a motion. I think you should have a motion to, receive the petition and state that that's the reason for conducting a public hearing and schedule it for your next regular scheduled meeting, which is May 7th. But before you do that, I would give Mr. Hollister the opportunity to speak. And Mr. Chairman, you were just stating that we really aren't going to discuss the application tonight. You're going to move that there's going to be a public hearing next month as well. So
Yes, thank you, Counselor.
no problem.
Attorney Hollister,
Yes,
it's
thank
all
you,
yours.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney Cordone. Yes, we did receive a copy and review a copy of the petition. It seems to be procedurally in order, so I think you have the obligation to hold the public hearing. I believe the suggestion was you'll do it on May 7th, which is your next regularly scheduled meeting. We will be prepared to proceed at that time. I do want to just bring up two quick things. We did file last week a letter with some attachments. I believe it was dated March 26th, which attempted to respond to the questions we had been asked on March 5th, some minor plan revisions and requests for information. So I just want to make sure that you have that. I'm not going to go through that tonight because we'll make that part of our public hearing presentation. And second, since we are going to public hearing, I would just sort of open-endedly ask if there are any additional questions, either from the site walk or from review of our supplement, that the commissioners would like us to address at the public hearing. We would be pleased to take those either now or obviously over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's all I had to say, and I appreciate the opportunity to be recognized.
All right, thank you. I'm going to open it to the commission. Any additional info comments that you want to relay to Attorney Hollister?
This is Carmine DeFeo. I have a question, procedural, possibly for Attorney Cardone. Is the applicant still required to notify all of the property owners within, I believe it's a 500-foot distance, that there's going to be a public hearing?
I believe it's within 75 feet of our the property. Section 9.3 of our regulation. So I do believe notice is required to be mailed, yes.
We're prepared to do that.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I may also suggest that, in the interest of, time and efficiency, if commissioners do have questions, they could present those to, town staff, to, Tatiana, in advance of the meeting. And so then they can be given to Attorney Hollister and his client. That may be a way to proceed tonight.
Right, excellent suggestion. So what I would ask is, while we're going through, if you have any thoughts, we'll discuss them during the work session. We can direct them towards our engineering department, and they can get them out to the applicant. All right. Any
Thank
other
you.
comments, questions, Attorney Hollister? You good? All
No, I'm good. Thank you so much, sir.
right. Take care. Be safe.
Chairman Dryer, we should take a motion
Yep.
now to go to public hearing for May 7th. Accept the
Just getting ready. Just
Thank
got my pen there. All right. So motion's been made to accept the petition for a public hearing. I need who's gonna move the motion?
I'll make a motion to move this application to West Misha Road application to public hearing at the next
Or May,
scheduled
for our next
meeting.
meeting, May 7th.
Eighth.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by John. Okay, we're gonna do a vocal. I'm a yes. John,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Carmine,
yes,
Greg.
Yes.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, we're moving to the next application, 24-07. Mariana Lodge. It is a permit approval for barn addition within a regulated area at 15 Saxony Drive. And let's see, there's Tatiana, do you see the applicant anywhere?
I don't. I thought I saw them.
She's not at town hall, is she?
There is someone with a name that I can't really read. Logo 456 CT ATU. And a phone number. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, while we're waiting, I'll open it to the commission. And most of us all walked it. We walked it twice. Comments, questions? All
I'm
right,
trying to get to the drawings.
I thought I was that close to going, let's move it, huh? So. You want to put the plan up, Tatiana?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I may suggest, since there's no one here to
Sure.
speak to that application, you can just, discuss that in your work session and then decide to vote on all in one shot.
So there isn't anybody that's waiting there. Bill's checked and Tatiana? As I was given the impression they would come to the meeting when we talked to them, so, all right.
Yeah, I spoke to her this morning and she sounded like she'd be here.
Well, if they do appear, we can go back to it for a moment. All right, so we're going to application 24-08. Easton Enterprises LLC. Permit approval to construct a single-family home, driveway, grading, remove trees, build retaining wall, landscaping within a regulated area at parcel D03-188 Main Street. This for the commissioners that weren't here, this was previously approved. Unfortunately, the applicant became ill and he failed to renew his permit. And talking to engineering, they don't find any changes. Everything is good. I know some of you walked it. I just feel it's something that in work session we can approve because it was all handled back several years ago. So if you're fine with that, You're good? All right, if that be the case, we're going to close old business. I need a motion.
I'll
I'll make the motion to close old business.
Okay, seconded by, I saw Carmine's hand up. Okay, all in favor? Aye, okay, that's unanimous. All right, Carmine, the minutes for March 5, 2024.
I've read the minutes and I would like to make a motion that they be accepted.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, David, has seconded, all in favor? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, abstention.
Remember, you're not participating in the meeting, so you don't
I-
have to abstain.
Well, I can't participate in the old business. I'm trying to get the record right.
All right. All right, so let's go to work
It's like
session.
riding a bike. You just don't forget how to do it, right? Commissioner Deacon, thank you.
Don't encourage him.
I'm trying not to, sorry.
Okay, All right.
The chair,
We have a raised hand.
go ahead.
we have a member of the public who raised a hand and I'm trying to promote them to panelists, but there we go. Maybe that's the.
I mean, the
representative.
Lobo 456. Any idea who that is?
No, hopefully we'll find out.
The anticipation is too much.
Mystery guest.
Yes.
Oh, apologies, commissioners.
All
I've
right.
been here trying to figure this out. I really apologize. This is Mariana Lage representing 15 Saxony Drive. For some
Okay,
reason,
hold on 1 second for us. We're gonna
I
need to,
apologize.
no, hang on 1 second for me. We need to do a motion to reopen old business. I see John is making the motion, second it. Seconded by Carmine, all in favor?
Aye.
That's a yes. All right, you just made it in there. Go ahead, if you would introduce yourself, give your address and all that.
my name is Mariana Lage. My address is 106 Country Place. I am the homeowner's agent on 15 Saxony Drive. I'm here representing Carlos Santos.
Right.
I apologize. I've been on the meeting, but I was trying to figure this out. I had to go call my brother to help me. I'm using a new computer. So this is Windows and I'm used to Mac. So I've been trying to log in. I see my name as actually my password. I don't know why it's there.
Okay, I need to make a suggestion. Change your password.
I now I will have to.
You can use
Now
Richard's.
now
1,
my
2, 3,
initials.
4, 5, 6.
All right,
Now it's showing my initials. So
there you
I
go.
have to change my password as of this point because it was showing it to everybody.
All right, well, at any rate, most of the commissioners walked this. We've seen this. If you can give us a quick overview, we did meet with the applicants and they were open to making the necessary changes and things, but the floor is yours, as they say.
The applicant is the homeowner, Carlos. He is very willing to do anything that you guys would suggest as necessary in order to make this right. As expressed before, he did not intend to cause any harm or discomfort to the commission. So he sincerely apologized, and he did over and over. And I believe some of the concerns that you had, we were able to address a few of them. Questions were answered when we walked around. So we got a good feeling of what your concerns were. But if they changed, if there's anything else we need to make, we will. We also have a plan that we submitted all the copies for your knowledge. So you see everything that we're willing to plant in order to restore areas. And we're removing the chicken coop. I think at the end he decided to remove it. He said, well, it's best to remove it, but if the commission doesn't think it's necessary for him to move it or to remove.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. When I was out at the walk, I explained to him that was not in our purview, so long as P and Z
Oh,
approved it.
zoning. That's true. I remember
And I
that.
mean, I'm all, you know, I don't think the commission has a problem with it, but check, it was a nice thing but if they
Mhm.
approve it, we'll
And the
work with you
chickens are
on it.
very nice there too. I'm sure they will be sad to go. So
So, no, so please don't, you know,
I will,
again,
well, I'll
reiterate
look
that to them.
further into that with Brian from zoning.
Right.
Hereby we have a plan made by James Dimmel, our engineer. So he made a plan. He took care of the concerns expressed before on the list that Tatiana and John gave us. So I'm here to see if there are any new concerns, any other new points to be brought to our attention so we can take care of it and take care of everything as soon as possible and get going.
All right, let me ask Tatiana. I believe she's referring to the March 16th engineering comment letters. Should we ever just go through it quick to satisfy you, or can we just say that as part of the condition of approval would be they would have to comply with those
Yeah, I
items?
think the engineer has not really addressed our comment letter. We just received the drainage report today, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. But there appears to be some outstanding items, so they would have to be addressed by the engineer. I don't see a value of going through the comment by comment at the meeting right now, but if the commission is comfortable, they can approve it with a condition to comply with those review comments.
Also, they would have to comply with the storm drainage report. They would have to meet the engineering requirements and expectations, right?
Correct.
It
All right,
seems
let me
like there's a
ask
lot
you-
outstanding.
I don't know, is that the case? When we talked earlier, you didn't feel that was the case, Tatiana. Do you feel that if we were to do this with conditions, you'd be fine with it?
It's up to the commission. I have not received responses to our comments, so the plan may change, but I guess the vicinity of the stormwater system will likely remain where it is. But I will note that the upland review area has changed because the fish pond and the intermittent streams are also wetland regulated areas. So it's all within upland review.
Feel more
But regardless,
comfortable? Okay, would you feel more comfortable if we continue this to next month to give you a chance to review it, or?
it's up to you guys. You know, we will review it regardless. So it's up to the commission.
I mean,
Mr.
is
Chairman,
there anything in there that would be, you know, something that they couldn't comply with? Because we can make it a condition, and I mean, I've gotten the impression from the applicants, they just, you know, they'll be compliant, they want to work with us. So I need your guidance. If we were to approve this with the condition that they would have to make sure that the storm drainage report met your approval, and if they complied with all the comments in the March 16th engineering comment letter, would you be okay?
I'd be fine. Does the commission comfortable with the planting plan provided? Because we don't review those.
I don't know. Well, let me then
I can't get it pulled up on my screen. Can you pull it up on the screen there?
Sure. Or I don't know, maybe the
keep-
applicant could actually share their screen.
Let me pull this up. Let me see if I can pull
The
this
PDF
up.
with the backup keeps bombing on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just won't load.
Yeah, I can pull it up. Let me just get the email. I just wanted to add that I sent the list back last week with the comments for the answers to the topics, and I thought I had sent the full drainage report with everything last week, but I resent it this morning to John. It could be that I missed one document and only sent two, which was the survey. Let me see. How do I share the? Now I lost Zoom. Okay, I got back. Let me see. How do I share screen? Are you guys seeing the plan?
No, nothing so
No.
far.
Nope, nothing yet.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay,
Is
something's
it
coming
sharing
up.
now?
Yeah, well, we see Zoom so far.
Okay.
And we see your letter to the from us.
Let me
Actually,
see.
it's the agenda letter.
How do I? Okay, this. I have to click on the. Okay, now. Okay, is it
All right.
Yes.
showing now?
It's up there now. Yes.
It's so bad. I don't think you guys can see anything here.
We can, but is there a inventory of the plantings?
Yes. He's doing
Okay,
Viburn,
yeah, it's at the
20
bottom. Can you
Viburn.
scroll it up so that Commissioner Varespi can see it? You've got to bring it the other way so that he can see it.
This way.
Yep, now bring it up.
Right.
Raise
Zoom
it.
in a little
Okay,
bit.
keep going. Yeah, there you go. Up. Okay, hold. Can you read that?
No, that's a perk test information. The list
Nope.
was up at the top,
Yeah, this
Okay,
is the
down.
list right here.
Okay.
The
but the
legend here.
list is
Oh, okay. That I
the
didn't
tree
see.
legend is
Yeah.
incomplete. Because there's probably 30 different species of viburnum. Some of them are invasive, some of them are native. So we need
Specifications of each Viburn.
yeah, generally when you do a plant list, it's got the Latin name, the common name, the size, the quantity, so that we can understand what it is. I generally hemlocks we steer away from planting because they're long-term maintenance concern due to the woolly hemlock adelgid. The eastern white pine would be a better choice. Just
Let
in
me
this
write it
area because
down
it's
so we can make the changes. So you said eastern?
white pine. Figure out which viburnum you're planting because there's a lot of different varieties and some of them are considered invasive and some are native. So we need to know which ones they are.
Which ones would suffice your concerns more?
That really is up to the person doing the planting plan. It's not the job of the commission to tell you exactly what to plant, but the viburnums would be fine, but whoever's doing the planting plan should provide that information.
So not invasive.
Right.
Through
The red maple,
chair,
we should be figuring out.
David, I believe there's a list on the Connecticut website that she can refer to.
Yes. And then the ferns, there's a lot of different varieties of ferns. Some are good for upland areas, some are good for sort of borderline areas, and some are good for wetlands. So, this is planted on a slope, so there might be different varieties that would be appropriate at different points on the slope. But that, again, we need to have the specifications of whether it's an ostrich fern or Christmas fern or hay-scented fern or whatnot. So if that information could be provided, that would be helpful.
Of course, yes. I will work on it.
All right,
Would
well,
the location, yes, you said the location would change because I would say maybe look at the map, how we place them, and we could change the types, but the way we sort it out, how
Can you
the plants will be.
scroll across so I can see the planted area? Yeah, it's hard to tell from here what's going where. But it looks like there's a fair amount of plantings.
Yes. The homeowner is a landscaper. He has a company and he really loves to take care of his yard. Everybody that walked around with us could see how he takes care of his property and how he likes to have nature and all of that there. So he had no objections as to plantings. He will do as many as you need, and he is willing to do whatever type is best for this area. He did pick these, and he chose those because he probably figured they were native, but he can also do more research into that and speak to his engineer about the way he placed the plantings so we could
Right.
further
At
suffice
the
your-
previous meeting, we had requested an actual property survey with the meets and bounds showing the location of the
Mhm.
property. Was that provided?
Yes.
Again,
I
my documents
submitted
aren't coming
12
up here.
copies of everything. We printed out 12 copies of these plans
Okay.
that you're seeing and the surveys.
Okay.
All right, David, how do we, I walked this twice. How do we stabilize this property? Because you've got the stream down and right now it's being stabilized by wood chips. Is that sufficient?
The wood chips actually take nitrogen out of the soil, and plantings will have a hard time establishing in that. It would be better to do, mulched around, traditional mulch around the plantings or in this large planted area. You could do mulch individual plants and then do a restoration seed mix in the other areas, or you could do a giant mulch bed. The wood chips aren't ideal because as they decompose, they pull nitrogen out of the soil, which isn't good for the plants. So,
All right, well,
the wood chips will definitely prevent erosion because they're going to break up the water before it has a chance to get to the soil, but it's not ideal for the plants.
all right, thank you. Well, I think at this point, we're gonna look to continue this to bring it to next month because there's some additional items. Would your applicant be okay with this? And I have to check, I believe we still have enough time. Do we, Colleen or Tatiana? I believe we do.
Yeah, we should have this is
Because
their
that hasn't been
second
that long.
meeting. Mhm.
So
Through the chair,
go ahead, Carmine.
my recommendation also would be to continue it and hopefully they can get a decision from planning and zoning as to what they will be doing with the chicken coop. So that
Yep.
the drawing can be updated for, to show correct information.
All right, so you understand what we're looking for then, that talk with Brian, find out from P and Z as to the status of the chicken coop. Also, the planting plan, make sure it complies. That will give engineering enough time to look through the storm drainage report. Also address the comment letters. Anything else that I'm missing, John Mayer or Tatiana?
From last meeting, I also think had a question about pond filtration, how that operates. So we'll touch base with the applicant, I think, following this meeting and make sure they have all the questions early on. Okay.
All right, so again, you're speaking for the applicant. You're fine with doing a continuance, to granting a continuance.
Could I? If we remove the chicken coop, would that increase our chance to not continue this and have it
No, because the problem is we have the planting plan, we still have the storm drainage report, which hasn't been checked. I think there's enough items. Well, let me just halt for a second. I'm going to do a quick straw poll. Are you for a continuance, David?
I vote for a continuance. There's too much stuff outstanding that we're waiting on that the commission deserves to have eyes on.
Carmine,
Continuance.
Greg,
Continuance.
let's see, I'm a yes, and John.
Continuance.
So we will be continuing to May 7th, and that will give you time to work with engineering to address any of their other concerns and give you time to go to P&Z. And as I said, we don't have a problem with the chicken coop. So I'd like to see you keep it if that's their wish.
Through the
All
chair.
right? Go ahead, Carmine.
For Tatiana, there should be no concern with anything with the filtration on the pond because it's not a swimming pool. There are no chemicals. So even if they do backwash, they're backwashing water, dirty water. And I don't have any concerns with any of our regulations regarding this pond.
Okay, if the
Yeah.
commission is comfortable, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah, because he explained it while we were out on the second walk there that he's only really moving the water around and pumping in and stuff. So, all right. Anything else from Ms. Lage? Otherwise, we're going
Nothing
to
else.
close.
I'd just like to ask if the list with the questions answered by the engineer was delivered to the commission. Because those questions were answered last week before the same day that the property that you guys came over to walk the property. That's when I brought all the questions and I submitted them. So I'm not sure. Did you have them, Tatiana, or
I
you
didn't get them, but the problem is we didn't even get the drainage report until today. Okay,
that drainage that I sent today was not a recent. They actually was sent for the first time.
we didn't receive it, so
Okay. Apologies on my part. I should have
All right.
forward that with the other documents. So
All right,
I will
well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get all this handled and hopefully next month you'll get an approval if that's what the commission desires.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your
All right.
time.
No problem. Okay, again, I'm going to ask for a motion to close old business. And I don't see everyone on the screen right now, so if you can close your screen for, thank you very much. Okay, I need a who's going to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to close old business.
Seconded by?
I'll second it.
All in favor? It's a yes. Okay. Okay, we did the minutes. Now we're going to do our work session. Application 24-04, 208 Dyke Road. Can I get an application to approve, Greg?
Yes, I make a motion to approve application 2404. A permit approval to remove 8 trees, add plantings and a split rail fence within a regulated area at 208 Old Dyke Road. In accordance to the following conditions from the Town of Trumbull's Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission. Section 1, General Conditions 1.1 to 1.10. And part of our work session, our discussion, I would add additional condition 3.1 that an upland stabilization mix be included in the planting plan. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if there was another one that David wanted.
We had
Have we missed
asked for the
anything?
inclusion of 1 swamp white oak.
There you go.
Okay. That would be 3.2 addition.
Okay, I need a second on the motion.
I'll
I'll
second.
second it.
Seconded by Carmine. Okay. All in favor? I'm a yes. David,
Yes.
Carmine,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Application 24-05. That's the 120/140 Holly Lane. We were going to discuss the thoughts of trenching in the asphalt in front of the chargers. So meantime, I guess we'll do an application to approve and then see where that takes us. Okay, Greg?
Okay, make a motion to approve application 2405. Permit approval to install 12 electric vehicle chargers, 3 superchargers, switchgear, and mounted transformer within a regulated area at 120/140 Holy Lane. In accordance with the following conditions from the Town of Trumbull's Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission, Section 1, General Conditions 1.1 to 1.10. And I heard additional conditions that the applicant needed submit a proper planting plan, a restoration planting plan for the area. Recommendation for 3.2 to make sure there's added additional soil and a restoration mix for the trenched area.
And to cover exposed roots.
And exposed roots. Okay. 3.3. The trenching is expected to be in the parking lot along the curb, not in the soil in front of the charging station. 3.4, relocation of the existing light pole needs to be identified on the plan. 3.5 was more, I think we said this was soil and stabilized with vegetation, some of the dirt areas because it's all close to the water there. And then 3.6 recommended that the whole area be cleaned up before any P&Z issues any permits. And 3.7, a maintenance plan, a property maintenance plan from the property owner.
And the addition of a couple of trash receptacles. As I said, they're going to be sitting there, eating their lunch, whatever.
Okay.
So have we missed anything? Anything else from the commission?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, David.
Is this something that we want to just assume that they're going to submit planting plan and address these other items on the plans, and we want to approve this, or is this something that we feel that they should come back to us with finalized documents so that we can have eyes on it and approve it?
All right, well, let me put it out to the commission. Are you fine with the way it is, Carmine, or do you want to continue to next month?
Do we have a second on the motion, Mr. Chairman?
No, that second was
Fine, I'll second it.
I thought your hand went up. I'm sorry. So at any rate.
Before we do that, can we go back to the motion as to whether or not something should be added in the event due to any trenching, trees are dying, that they be replaced within a certain time period, 1 or 2 years?
Well, let me go
Of the
to
existing trees.
because we don't have Bob tonight. As I understand it, it could take a tree a year, 2 years, 3 years to die off when roots are affected. So what are your thoughts on that, David?
Trees will continue to decline for 7 years before they can recover from construction activities. So, I don't think we can hold people to that, but it does appear that there were additional plant material being taken out that wasn't shown on the plan, which is a concern because it's not really accurately representing the scope of the project. And we can't actually say, oh yeah, we need more than just shrubs to go back in here. We want a couple trees. So, you know, the trees are definitely going to be impacted by the trenching through that area. And, you know, I think Carmen's right, a period of 18 months, if any trees die, then they should be replaced.
All right, so add that. And while that's being added, again, let me go through the commission. Are you fine with going for the approval tonight, Carmine, or would you like to see a continuance to
I'd
next
like to see a
month?
continuance. Again, there's a lot of missing data that I'd like to get my eyes on before making a final decision.
John?
Well, during the meeting itself, didn't I say that we should not close this? You know, make a decision before we close of the hearing itself. And now
So you are yes on the continuance then?
Can we continue it now? Now that
Yeah.
we closed the hearing?
Sure,
We're gonna
we
reopen.
can,
There's no public hearing on this. This is.
I understand there's no public, but we did close business, like reopen business.
no, but what we'll do is we'll just do a motion to continue it. As I'm sure
I have no
that,
problem with it, as long as legal.
all right. David, you're a yes on continuing. Greg?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of approving stuff where people still have outstanding information to be submitted.
All right, so let's withdraw the motion that's on the floor and we will instead go for a motion to continue to May 7th. And I need that
I'd like
motion.
I'll make a motion to continue this application, which is
May 7th.
application 2405 till the May 7th meeting.
Okay, second. Okay, John's seconding it. All in favor? I'm a yes.
Aye.
David, Carmine, John, and Greg. So that's unanimous on that. All right. Application 2406, that's been continued to next month. Let's see, application 24-07. I need to get a motion for a continuance for application 24-07, which is 15 Saxony Drive.
I'd like to make a motion to continue application 24-07 for 15 Saxony Drive till the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission on May 7th.
All right, who's going to second it? Okay, John, second. All in favor? Okay,
Aye.
that's unanimous. All right, on application 24-08, it was a previously approved application. He let the permit unfortunately lapse. I'd approval on that, Greg. So can you do a motion to approve?
Sure. I make a motion to approve application
As
2408
submitted.
as submitted. Which is a permit approval to construct single-family home, driveway grading, remove trees, build retaining wall landscaping within a regulated area at parcel DO3 188 Main Street in accordance to the following conditions from the Town of Trumbull Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission. Section 1, General Conditions 1.1 to 1.10.
All right, I need a second.
I'd like to make an addition to that. I don't know what
Go
kind of
ahead.
conditions that we made when we originally approved this lot. There may have been conditions. I think that the motion would be that those same conditions be carried forth on this approval as well.
I think that would be automatic, wouldn't it, Attorney Cordone? As if we're just approving the previous permit, what was approved there would carry forth, no?
Well, I
think
heard Greg listing things, so I just want to make that clear.
No, I'm just asking. I'm trying to get educated myself, so.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Loria's point is well taken. It certainly doesn't hurt to make clear that as a condition of approval, any prior conditions are also a condition of this approval.
And that is the reason you make the big bucks, John.
Thank you. I should have been a
Okay,
lawyer
David.
instead of an engineer.
I have a
Go ahead,
question.
David. Sure.
Since the approval on this application expired, this is considered a new application, correct, Attorney Cordone? And it would be a new approval.
I believe so. That's what's before you, yes.
So it's a new application, new approval. The previous application, the previous approval expired. So I think to John's point, we would need to make sure that if it ever happens again, that, whatever previous conditions were on previous approvals are carried forward onto this one, and they can't just sort of skirt around it by letting it expire.
I think we're all in agreement. Yes.
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay, so the motion's out there and I'm trying to remember who seconded. Did we get a second?
We did not.
Okay, who's going to second it?
Well, I did interrupt Greg's motion, so I don't even know if we really have him.
Basically, what we did is the motion as submitted with the conditions that all the previous conditions that were done previously have to be adhered to and followed. Anything else am I missing?
And in addition, what Greg had said was 1.1 through 1.10.
Right. All right, so the motion's there. I still need the second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? I'm a yes. David?
Yes.
Carmine?
Yes.
Greg is a yes, I see it,
Yes.
and John. Okay.
Yes.
So that passes.
We got something done.
Yeah. Colleen, is there anything else that has to come before the commission or anything else we need to discuss?
No, we're all set.
No, okay. Looks like we're good. Get to clear a lot of the docket, unfortunately, but I will see you on May 7th. I appreciate all that you did. And if there be no objection, did you have something, Attorney Cordone? I see
Yes,
your
Mr.
hand
Chairman,
waving.
just, we do have a public hearing next month, and just as a reminder, if you have any specific questions related to that public hearing, commissioners just individually reach out to John or Tatiana with your questions so the applicant could address those. That was his request. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, anything else? All right, there be no objection. I move to adjourn and I thank you all.